Hello. All right. Another safety training, and this one is very useful. It is a little lengthy, as you can see. So, well, that didn't make it look lengthy. Anyway, there's a lot of pages here. So, what it is something that we all kind of use or have used, or at least have been around at program, and that's our first aid kit. So, or our safety bag. So this can be done for your own, because it's basically just preparing a first aid kit. And so this is one for you even at home. So if any of you need this information, I can email it to you, so that if you did want to make your own, first aid kit, you would know what to go out and buy. They are very, very useful. Um, just the other day, I was with somebody and they had an accident while they were cooking, and they weren't using the right knife or something, and I think it was like a grapefruit knife where you kind of cut, like the segments out of grapefruit. It's supposed to make it easier, but they were using that to cut, I think, some cheddar cheese, and it accidentally slipped and cut like their finger really bad. And they immediately got some pressure on it, but they're like, "Oh, get the first aid kit, get the first aid kit." And I was like, "I don't know where your first aid kit is," and they told me where it was, but since the cut was so weird and so deep, and they thought they might have hit a tendon, and I was like, "I think maybe you should go to the hospital," and they're like, "I'm not doing that." So I'm like, "All right, well then let's at least get this," but it has everything to wrap up, to do a nice job on it, and we wanted to keep the finger straight to keep it from bleeding so much. So that's why it's important to have certain things in your first aid kit. So let's get started. So we all have things in our home that keep us safe, healthy, and happy. So we have food and water, clothes that keep us warm and dry, a comfortable bed and pillow. My pillow, I need to get a new one. Toothbrush and toothpaste, and floss, and books, television, music, our phones, our computers, but all sorts of stuff that keep us happy and safe at home. So a first aid kit is another item we need in our home. And it's true. It's some form of it. We should always know where your band-aids are, things like that. Just anything that you would need to dress a wound, or, even if it's minor. So a well-stocked first aid kit can help keep you safe and healthy in your own home. You may have some questions like, what items should I put in my first aid kit? Well, how much should you? How can these items help me when I get hurt or feel sick? How often should I check to make sure that I have all of the things that I'll need? And so this is to help you answer those questions. So what is a first aid kit? A first aid kit is a box that holds all of the equipment, medications, and cleansing solutions you will need to give first aid to yourself or somebody else. You and other people, including your support person, or staff member, or teacher, or whatever you want to call us, nice, can use your first aid kit. So if there is anything that is particular to you in a first aid kit, and say you have it in your backpack when you come here, then when you come to Inroads, then what you want to do is let us know. Like, I have certain things in here that you might not have in yours to help keep me safe, or keep us updated, and we could add stuff to our safety bag, just be like, hey, that's a good thing for us all to have in it. So what is first aid itself? First aid is the help that you can give someone who has been injured. First aid is for minor injuries, not serious ones. So scraping your knee, something like that, that is fine. If something's going to require stitches or it's a deep cut, you're going to have to go to the hospital. First aid can be done anywhere, especially at home. So this is, for your home, for yourself, but for yourself at home and other people in your home. First aid can be washing and covering a small cut, putting ice on a bruise, taking somebody's temperature, which now we all have the here, so yeah. Who can do first aid? So who can? You and other people, including your support person, can do first aid. You'll need to let your support person, friends, and family know where you'll keep your first aid kit. Like I said, a friend of mine, I have to ask. However, some things may need to be done by professionals like paramedics or doctors, and we'll know. And this is a good rule of thumb. Sorry, I don't like that phrase. This is a good rule just overall to follow. If you aren't sure about doing something, the best thing to do is to tell someone or call 911. So if you're not sure if it's like at all, if you have any question like maybe we can do this, that's a 911 call. No, you can't because you're already questioning yourself. So move on and make sure that you call 911. You should call 911 immediately if someone is unconscious. This means the person isn't awake and doesn't respond to anything. So, you shake them or you clap your hands and like, hello, are you in there? I mean, don't hurt them more because they're already unconscious. But, you want to, but then they don't respond, 911. Is severely bleeding, 911. Has broken bones, 911. Is in shock, 911. In these cases and any other situations in which you feel you can't or shouldn't give first aid, 911. Yeah, or hit 0 and talk to the operator, but 911. Even cell phones, like even if you have a cell phone that isn't yours, there is like an emergency calls sort of option to where you can call 911 from any cell phone. I don't know why you would have a cell phone that isn't yours, but say you found one on the ground and somebody was in shock or had a broken bone, you can call 911, emergency call. Some equipment you will need in your first aid kit are bandages of all sizes. So here's a picture of some of the stuff. You got your bandages, you got your cotton swabs, you got your gloves, sterile gauze bandages. Sterile, you want them to be sterile, which basically just means not used. Cotton balls and cotton-tipped swabs, those are very important. You can put, instead of using your hands, which could have dirt or filth on them, and say you want to apply some antibiotic ointment to something for somebody, you can just take one of those, and they're very useful. You just swab that and then just kind of over the cut or whatever it is. Instant cold packs. You want a thermometer. Disposable latex or synthetic gloves. Some people are allergic to latex, and so we go with synthetic. And you can look at this checklist to find out the other equipment you'll need at this website. Let me bring it back. Alright, I think you can read that. Can stop this or pause it and then take down that website, or I can just email that page to you. But it'll tell you a lot more. Why do you need so much equipment in your first aid kit? Because you never know what's going to happen. Sorry, this is what I think. Injuries from household accidents can happen at any time, and you want to be well prepared for any situation. Because we can't predict accidents, it's good to keep a variety of equipment in your first aid kit, like bandages for minor cuts and scrapes, instant cold packs for bumps and bruises, and a thermometer to take temperatures that are caused by fevers. And, we obviously have those here, but you do want to see if somebody doesn't seem well and you take their temperature and it's over 100, then you want to get that person to a hospital. I would call 911. Because the person's brain can start to boil if they get too hot. So here are ointments, medications, and cleansing solutions you'll need. So ointments, so hydrocortisone cream for itchy skin, antibiotic ointment like Neosporin. I can't stress that enough. Neosporin has helped heal so many wounds of mine, and it really does help. It really, really does help. Medications, pain medication like Tylenol or Advil or ibuprofen. I go with Ibu usually. Cleansing solutions, so antiseptic solution like peroxide to clean and disinfect minor cuts. Or of course you have your rubbing alcohol. Eye wash, such as saline. So if somebody gets something in their eye, you can help wash it out. And check out this list for items you'll need. And so, boom, there it is. The next one. Again, you can pause this at any time if you want to take that down, or I can send it to you. But it covers the basics there. You'll need to find a container to hold all of these items. So choose something that will last a long time, so it's kind of durable, has a lot of room, and is lightweight. Yeah, you don't want anything that you don't want to take with you. Something that could go into your backpack. That's kind of a good rule there. Think, oh, will it fit in there? Yeah, alright, perfect. Has handles and is easy to open and close. Yeah, if it's a serious injury, you don't want to be like, I can't even open this. It's impossible. Now I can't help anybody. Label this container in large letters with a marker. You can call it My First Aid Kit, anything. Just so you remember that it's first aid kit. You can call it a FAK, F-A-K. I don't know, as long as you remember. You also want to buy a first aid manual or print out some instructions from this website. So it's from the Mayo Clinic, and I'm sure just go to mayoclinic.com, and then you can also, I'm sure it'll be like, oh, here's a list of everything. So now that we have our first aid kit, let's visit Caleb, a basketball player. Hey, Caleb. Sometimes Caleb falls down and scrapes his knee. Happens all the time. What can you use from your first aid kit to help him feel better? Think about it. What could you use? Clean a scrape with soap and warm water. Yes, warm water feels better than cold water. Remove any bits of gravel or dirt. You might want to ask them to do it. You can point it out to them. If they want you to do it, then you do it. But, everybody's pain threshold is different. And so if they're more comfortable doing it themselves, let them do it themselves. Gently pat the wound dry. Apply some antibiotic ointment, Neosporin, and cover it with a bandage. Well, I would honestly say before cover it with a bandage, I'm assuming that what you put down is a sterile gauze pad over the antibiotic ointment and then wrap it. Caleb was glad that you have a well-stocked first aid kit because he feels much better now. Remember, do not let anyone else use medication prescribed by your doctor. So if you have something in your first aid kit that other people can't use, then yeah. And then make sure you don't give that to anybody. That's for you and you alone, because you don't know what the effects are and it could really make them sick. Later, Caleb and Bella come to your house for dinner. Bella's helping you in the kitchen and accidentally burns her hand on a hot patio. First, decide if this is a minor burn. This presentation can help. So, maybe at some point we'll watch that. With your first aid kit, you can help her. Hold her hand under cool running water for a few minutes. Do not put ice or grease like butter on the burn. And loosely cover the burn with a sterile gauze bandage. And so, down at the bottom there, that's a sterile gauze bandage. But make sure it's cool water. Warm water would be terrible in that situation. With practice, you can help yourself and others with your first aid kit. You can be well prepared for small accidents around the home or nearby, like falling down on the pavement, hitting your thumb with a hammer. Ouch, I've done that. Burning your hand on the stove. With a well-stocked first aid kit, you can help make yourself and others feel better. It's true. You'll need to check your kit every few months, so this is why we do ours monthly for our safety bag, so that we can replace any items that you've used or are missing. And then you want to check expiration dates on medicines, ointments, lotions, and other cleansing solutions. If it's past its expiration date, then it's probably lost its poignancy, or it's, what it's supposed to do. It won't actually help. It's just putting something on there like that is nothing. It's not going to help with bacteria or anything like that. And then throw away those that are expired or too old to use and replace them. And set a schedule for yourself when you will check your kit. So that is how to well-stock a first aid kit. And I hope you've enjoyed this. I thoroughly did. So, but it is very important to have. Never forget that. Let's make sure that we keep each other safe. And that's what we'll do when I see you next. Keep each other safe. All right, and please help me with the medical bag next time. All right, bye everybody.